Welcome back to In the Midst. Today we're talking about the younger generation. Does that apply to you? Are you a youth? In some ways, in some areas compared to others, all of us are in some situations. So today I'm asking, are you a youth? What?
Don't you have to do my school while you're doing
Can you go play? Are you a youth? So 1 Samuel 17:33, and Saul said to David, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth." So Saul was saying to David, you're not old enough, you're not experienced enough, you can't do this. He's, way more experienced, he's older, you can't compete with him. Please stop, both of you. Stop. Natalie, down the hallway. So that's kind of the idea, is because of his age, because of his inexperience, you can't do that. Have you been told that before? Do you feel that way? Do you feel, I'm not old enough for this? I'm not experienced enough for this. There has to be someone else. There's lots of things that I felt like that in my life for. But when God steps in and God says, no, you are the person that I've chosen, it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks. As you look around, there are people all around you, each person with their own life, hobbies, and responsibilities. Some are older, some are younger. It's easy to look at those that are older than us and desire to reach those same goals and accomplishments. However, we can also look at those that are younger and think that we're not doing anything great when we are compared to their accomplishments. Do you find yourself comparing your life and your accomplishments to others? I want to start with that first. Just going to park here for a second and say, stop. I'm going to be transparent. I've done it. I do not really fit in with people in my age bracket. I don't. I will be 30 in February, and I don't have the normal 30-year-old life. I don't have a career. I didn't spend 4 years in college. I've been doing the mom and wife thing for 14 years now. So that's what I've done. So when other 30-year-olds, they've got their toddlers, their 3-year-olds, I've got a 14-year-old. My kid's in the teen class, going to teen camp and, doing stuff like that. So I really am closer to like that 40 age group. Those are the people that are finishing, raising their kids, or, maybe they're older 40s and their kids are already married and out of the house. And that's the phase that I'm going to be coming into soon. So that is normally where I fit. So it's easy for me to look at, it's easy for me to look at, others that are 28, 29, and they've got, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a baby. And man, that was so easy. And they didn't have school and all these responsibilities. Maybe they have a career. They make good money. They've got a set routine. They look like they've made it. It's completely different than how my life looks. But we're not comparing apples to apples, okay? So stop, regardless of what phase of life you're in, stop comparing your life to others. God did not call you to walk that walk. He did not call you to parent those children. Whatever it is, He's given you to do. That's what you need to focus on. Let's see. Facebook, Instagram, all that's really good about this. We see everyone else's successes. We see what they're doing, their jobs, or maybe they're out partying. They're taking vacations, not a care in the world. And you can't do that. That's okay. Okay. Do not become bitter and resentful because we get stuck in the comparison trap. God does not equip and call us all to the same task. Thankfully. How boring would that be? We have to trust Him. Philippians 4:11 is a verse that I've had to learn to go back to many times. Paul said, "Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned that whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content." Being content is part of having faith. It's part of trusting God's will, God's call on your life. Someone is watching you. Maybe you are that high school girl. Maybe you're in college. Maybe you're married. Maybe you're a grandma. Others are watching you. Are you in the comparison trap? Are you just discontent? Are you not trusting God? Are you complaining about where He has you, the things that He's given you to do? They're going to see that. That's not going to want to make them follow the Lord. That's not a testimony that glorifies God. So you have to be careful with this. Your friends are watching, and the influence you have on them is pretty significant, even if they never tell you that. As a wife, the tone that you set for your home is significant. If you are always on social media, you're in this comparison trap, you're bitter because, we didn't take 2 vacations this year, and, whatever you want to fill in the blank with, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, your husband is going to be so discouraged because you're telling him, I'm not happy with what you've done for us. You're not providing enough. That hurts. Okay. Don't have this attitude. Don't have your kids looking at dad like he's not enough and mom's not happy. And maybe it's my fault because, I was born, whatever. This really speaks volumes to those around you. So, I don't know where you are in life, but I hope and pray that you allow godly influences in your life and that you are courageous enough to do God's will and stand for truth, even if you have to stand alone. It's okay. It's okay if God called you to be a stay-at-home mom. He didn't give you a career and friends and work dinners and all this stuff. It's okay. Enjoy where He has you. Do not let your age determine what you think God can do with you. There's no age limit. God doesn't look at someone and say, oh, you're only 12. I can't use you. I have to wait. Or you're 72 and not much I can do there. God doesn't say that at all. Okay. Have you read the Old Testament? Have you read the Old Testament? Like everyone was old. Okay. We're just going to say it, and that's okay. David was the youngest of his brothers, yet God called him to do great things. He was not a warrior. He was a shepherd tending to the sheep. He comes to this battle and he's like, I can help. I can do that. I'm going to take on that Philistine. And they're like, you smell. You're little. Go home. They didn't want anything to do with him. But God used him to defeat Goliath. And at 30, he was a king. I'm almost 30. Okay. So right here, it's easy to be like, wow, it's okay. Okay. This was God's plan for him. Let God use you. Do not sit here and think, oh, one day later, I'm not old enough. Who said? Are you a youth? Let God use you where you are. If you are in high school, in college, in the business realm, whatever you're doing, there's people that you are going to influence, that you are going to impact, that you are going to be able to reach that I never could, that your pastor never could, that your youth pastor never could. But you can. And that's why God has you there. God wants us to rely on Him, on His power, His abilities, not our own. Don't let your age stop you from serving Him. I want to leave you with this verse. Paul was writing to Timothy to help him be the man that God called him to be. And this really applies to all of us. 1 Timothy 4:12, let no man despise thy youth. Be thou an example to the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, and in purity. Those should be testimony, characteristics to all of our lives, regardless of where you are. God can use you. God wants to use you. You just have to trust Him. Until next time, stay in the Word, stay close to the shepherd, and let Him lead you in paths of righteousness.